Hello and welcome back into the Knicks-Verse. That's right. This is the first video of the new season, the 2023-2024 season for the New York Knicks, for the NBA in general. Tonight, we just saw the very first preseason game. It was interesting. Can't get too wrapped up into it. You know, it's just preseason. Really, guys are working on different things. They're trying to explore different areas of their game. The coach is looking at different lineups. So it's really not indicative of the actual regular season, but it's still nice to get that dub, especially game one, especially over Boston, even though Boston played the previous night, last night, actually. And so I think their top six players, none of them started. None of them even played. So the Knicks were facing, the others on Boston. But Boston made it interesting. But you could just see that the Knicks were just never going to let this game go. Thibs doesn't like to lose at all. So let's get to it. Let's hop on it. First thing, before I get into it, obviously the Knicks won this game 114-107, and it was actually kind of close throughout. I think the largest lead was like 13 points at one time. But mostly it was like 5 points, 3 points, 2 points. Celtics even took the lead in the third quarter. And I'll tell you, the defense is going to be the biggest issue for the Knicks this season. Because they've got guys that can make buckets. They have it. And so we're going to see. And the big component of that defense is right there. The big man, number 23, who, by the way, I got to tell you, he looks outstanding. Now, the bigs especially, they all kind of have like the butterfingers right now. The balls hit their hands. They bounce right off. They're not grabbing the rebounds yet, with determination. But the effort was there. And Mitch, he is... I remember seeing him the very first time I was at Summer League. The first time he ever played. Came out skinny, wiry kid. He was basically a kid, but with bounce, tremendous bounce. Then, over the years, as he filled in, that we kind of lost a little bit that bounce. He recaptured it, some of it last season. He looks like now it's all finally coming together, and he might become the true block nest monster that we know he can be. It looks like that might return this season. I was really impressed by him, and as you heard Breen and Wally talk on the broadcast, if you actually watched the game, talking about how he anchors the entire Thibs defense. He's crucial to the defensive structure of this team. And he delivered last season. He will deliver this season, I'm hoping. He definitely looked great tonight in the game one. But the main thing to look at here is just the overall vibe of the team. They look like they're all enjoying each other, playing with each other. Even Evan Fournier got out there, and the guys were looking for him, and he had a nice game, and we need him. We need him to make buckets for twofold reasons. One, there's going to be nights where no one can hit a three-point shot, but Fournier can. He proved it. He still holds the team record for the most threes made in a single season. He's still that lethal guy. It's just about defense with him. If he can at least not be such a drastic a net player, a negative player on the court defensively, can somehow improve defensively, that would be tremendous for us. However, he's not technically in the rotation, but I see an opportunity for us to capitalize on his three-point marksmanship this season when those nights that we just grow cold. I'm really hoping that Thibs continues his evolution as a coach and looks for other alternatives that are on the bench on a game-by-game, almost on a quarter-by-quarter basis. That is the way of the new NBA. Mark this right now. The way of the new NBA is not put 5, 6, 7 guys out there and just let them grind it out. No, that's not the way of the new NBA. It's going to be looking at the situation, pulling someone off the bench, get him in the game because he can exploit that defense, or vice versa. Put a defensive stopper like a Deuce in there. When you have a little guy going off on you, put him in there. I hope that Thibs opens his mind up to that. He's evolved tremendously, And I'm rooting for him to have a great season. I'm rooting for him to win Coach of the Year again for the third time in his career. I'm rooting for everybody on this team. And I want to begin this first video of the 2022-23 season by talking to all of the fans right now. I'm going to implore upon all of you, chill. Just chill. Already, Twitter's fucking freaking out. Chill. This team won 47 games last season, got to the second round, and actually probably could have beaten Miami if Randall wasn't compromised with his ankle. I'm just putting it out there. They played Miami fantastic. They could have beaten them. So, this is not a team that's like spinning out, going in the wrong direction. It's not. Just chill out. I'm seeing all the RJ stuff, and it's really it's like, what's the point? It's like telling someone before they sit down for the meal, the meal is shit. Don't. Why? What's the point of that? What is the advantage of that? Enjoy the season. Enjoy it for what it is. And I am telling you, I might be a little overhyped by this team. And I haven't put a video out at all since the Dante DiVincenzo trade was made. Or maybe it was when Obi was traded. I can't remember which one. It's been a couple of months. It's been almost 3 months since I put out a video. And mostly it's because, the quality of the stuff that's out there was being put out there by CP, was doing a great job holding it down. The Locked On Knicks guys were doing a great job. Everybody was putting out videos. I was enjoying them. Just felt like, I wanted to see how the landscape ended up. And now with Dame being traded, Drew ending up in Boston, I have a pretty good feel, at least a much better feel right now of what the Knicks are facing this season, as opposed to just even a month and a half ago. So, and I'm not going to get too deep into that right now because I'm going to put out my prediction video for the season. As you guys, my diehards know, I put out last year's video. I predicted 47 wins. Nailed it. Right on the button. And I have a pretty good feel about this team. It's a matter of what the other teams are going to be like. That's the major question. But there's just no doubt in my mind the Knicks are a top 5 team in the East. I'll put that out there right now. Whatever the math ends up dictating for that to be, we'll get into it. But I'll put that video out in between the last game of the last preseason and the first game of the season. So I'll put that video out then. But right now, I'm really incredibly excited about the team. I am bummed, obviously, that Obi's not on the team, but it had to happen. He's in Indiana. He's gonna get a shot over there. Wish the best of luck for him. But I love the 9 guys the Knicks have right now. 10 guys. I love the whole roster, actually, all the way up and down. Even the bench guys. They all have something positive to provide. This is a very, very deep team. But the Knicks played another very deep team tonight, Boston. That team is going to be a problem for the Knicks. No doubt they're going to be a problem. And we know what the Bucks have done with trading Drew for Dame. They put together 2 of the most lethal offensive weapons that's ever been on an NBA court. It's going to come down to chemistry. It's going to come down to health. It's going to come down to what the other guys can provide. But those, obviously, the Bucks and Celtics are on the top tier of the East. There's no doubt. The Knicks are right there in the second tier, right below that top tier. They are probably they're right there with I would say the Sixers, the Heat, and the Cavs. I think those and the Knicks. That those 4 are right there in the second tier. And it's going to be a matter of who stays healthy enough, which team has a player that makes a leap or levels up from the previous season. And there's always those guys that they regress. It always happens. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all works out. But in terms of what we actually saw tonight, let's get into this part here. 114, 107. Randall only played 13 minutes, but hit 3 of 4. 1 of 3 from the 3-point line. His 3-point shot looked good. His new haircut looked good. And so Brunson, of course, look at it. Only 6 minutes, 10 points in 6 minutes for Brunson. Fabulous. He's already ready to go. Coming off of FIBA. RJ was actually the most fascinating player tonight. 16 minutes, made only one field goal, a 3-point shot, and he got 12 points because he made all 9 of his free throws. Let me tell you, if the way that he was drawing fouls and the way he drew fouls last season, and if he can improve on his ability to draw fouls next season, this could be a very exciting season for RJ Barrett. Now, people are losing their minds. Oh, he only shot 1 of 6. 1 of 6. 16 minutes, 12 points. Guess what his plus minus was? Plus 17. The highest on the entire team. In 16 minutes, plus 17. You have to sometimes accept players for what they are, and you do, of course, you want them to become better. You want to encourage them, but you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Been saying that for a while. There's something in this guy. He's always shown up on winning teams, even on the Knicks. The Knicks, he has a winning career percentage. I think, or about even, maybe even 500, but still, that's pretty impressive considering how his efficiency is lacking. I'll tell you, his efficiency is lacking. His playmaking awareness sometimes, can really hurt the team because he forces shots. Well, tonight, it began a little bit like that, but then he found Brunson out on the 3. He hit the 3-pointer. He sprayed the ball enough, which was nice. I'm really excited to see the synergy that Brunson, Randall, Barrett, Robinson, and Grimes created in the latter part of last season carry over into this season. I'm really hyped about what we're going to be able to do this season. Very, very much hyped. Another thing that I loved Immanuel Quickley's game tonight. There were a couple things where he took, did a turnaround Jay from the free throw line in the latter part of the second quarter, which was a bad attempt. Wasn't a good attempt, but he straightened it out. He ended up 8 of 14 overall, 21 points. He led the team today, but only 3 assists. So that just shows you, he's still got stuff to work on. But in 23 minutes, 21 points. Immanuel Quickley, the bucket is there. And I actually, to shout out to Cameron, who was one of the Locked on Knicks guys, said that they wanted to see the, I think it was one of the guests, Quickley kind of develop a conscience as the years wore on. His rookie year, he just came out, he was just a lethal sniper. Then he developed a conscience, tried to make better choices in terms of his shot selection, which is great, which helped propelled him. That, along with his outstanding defense, propelled him to be runner-up 6th man of the year last season. Well, what I want to see this season, and I'm echoing that comment, is I want to see him lose the inhibitions. I want him to become that lethal sniper once again. I want him to become, almost not, I don't want to use the word selfish, but you guys know what I mean. We need him to be that constant threat to the defense whenever he's on the floor. It's crucial for everybody else that's on the floor to have him, because he needs to become that magnet to draw players to him, to open up the floor for everybody else. So I want him to become to shed his conscience. That was the terminology there, and definitely 100% agree with that. We saw some of that tonight. Want to see that continue. Absolutely. The other big thing that happened was Evan Fournier. I mentioned him before. He got off to a cold start, but finished strong. 11 points, 3 of 7 from the 3-point line. Hit some nice 3-point shots. He's someone that we're definitely going to need at some point, either by letting him prove himself to the league again, and then it becomes an attractive trade commodity for another team, or we can use him until that time he gets traded. So he will get traded. It's going to happen. It's probably happen by the actual trade deadline in February. But I think he needs to get a look every now and then. Can't let him just rot on the bench this season. Okay? Last season, we had to correct the issues that happened in 2021-22, where the team regressed, only won 37 games. And I get the whole logic. I was a big proponent of it, to bench him and start Grimes. Huge proponent of it. But, sometimes in life, we overreact too much to something that happened previously. Our response is way too it swings too much one way or the other. There's a huge middle ground. And now we know Thibs, we know who he is, we know what type of guy he is, but we also know that if Fournier can at least, like I said before, hold his own defensively, that he could be a contributor offensively. Now, we have too many guards right now. So this is all talking, we have a wealth of guards, which is fabulous in a lot of ways. And there are a lot of them they're very versatile. Like Hart didn't even play tonight, but Dante DiVincenzo got off to a terrible start. I think he was 0 for 6, and he hit his last 2 3-pointers, finished 2 of 8 overall. But you could see the spark once he got comfortable. And he wasn't pushing it. He wasn't trying to overdo too much. He was just letting the game come to him, and it totally ended up working out. He calmed down. He just looked a little rusty. His timing was a little off. And by the second half, he got into the flow of it. He's going to be an incredibly exciting piece on this team. The one other thing, Grimes, he hit those nice 2 3-pointers. That was excellent. We need much more of that from him. His defense was really nice, really nice. Look at that. He got 4 dimes, 3 rebounds. So, right now it looks like Josh Hart and RJ are going to be the backup 4s in that second unit to Randall. But there is a possibility that Mr. Jacob Toppin, which will be wild if it happens, Jacob Toppin could end up like filling the role that Obi provided for this team the past 3 seasons. There's a chance that it actually might be his own brother who fulfills that role. He has tremendous athleticism. He's a much better shot blocker than Obi is. He didn't get any rebounds. Oh, he got 2 rebounds. Okay, that's nice. From watching him in college, I think he's a better rebounder than Obi. He just has he's more focused in those areas. So he could be a nice contributor, maybe 8 minutes, 10 minutes, just those nights where, Hart's struggling and RJ might be struggling, and even DiVincenzo, maybe he's a little undersized. On those nights, I could see, and also because Sims, he doesn't do much offensively for us. And some nights we're going to need that. And we saw tonight a lot of Sims with Hartenstein on the court together. So look for that. That might be something interesting, an interesting development as the season goes along, that Jacob Toppin could become an interesting piece in this, like a situational player. Situational. That's the Thibs word from, 3 seasons ago? Oh, man. Well, I hope you guys have been having a great summer. I know there's some crazy shit going on right now in the world, and that's all tough, but I hope in your personal lives you've had a great summer. I've been busy on different things. I wanted to take a big break from all this because doing all these videos can be pretty exhausting, especially mostly by myself, as I do here. Here are the Celtics scores. Look, I mean, they got some shooters. Hauser is lethal. Even though he only ended up 2 for 9 here, but man, if you saw him in the summer league, that guy can shoot. Pritchard, 4 of 11 from the 3-point line. Banton, he was with the Toronto Raptors for 2 seasons now. He's going to come off the bench for the Celtics. Interesting player. He might end up cracking the rotation here, but it's hard to comment on any of these players without the top 6 guys in the rotation that didn't play tonight. So it's really kind of a waste of time to talk too much about it. But other than they're deep. The Knicks are deep. The Celtics might be deeper. I think they are deeper than the Knicks right now. Here we go. The Knicks, they got off to an incredibly cold start from the 3-point line, but recovered to finish 13 of 42, 31%, which is not good, but it was way down. It was like around 10-15% for the first couple of quarters. 24 assists, nice. The turnovers held it down, 14. Points in the paint, we got beat points in the paint. Shocking. But again, none of these None of these mean anything, these stats. But I will say the free throws, considering RJ hit all nine of his attempts, the rest of the squad did not do that well. What did they shoot? 16 of 24? Not that good. Well, all right. I'm going to keep this short. Actually, it's not even short. I'm already rambled on for 20 minutes. I thought we were at the 10-minute mark. I'm excited for this season, incredibly excited for this season. I'm expecting, here's a couple things I'm expecting. And I was talking about this actually with JD tonight. We're in a situation where we got 4 young players, really interesting young players. So we got IQ, RJ, Grimes, and who's the fourth guy? Is it Dante? I don't think. Was it Dante? Either way, our young core of that group. Oh, Mitch. Well, Mitch. I keep forgetting that he is young. Mitch. Of those 4, they're all going to be as good as they were last season, but most likely, if you look at just the law of averages, one of them might regress or have already plateaued, but at least 2 will improve on their previous season. And the hope is that the 4th guy pops. Now, pops could mean many different things for each different player. Like popping for RJ has a different. What we would see would be different than what we would see from an IQ popping. But I will say, I have a feeling, and I know everybody else knows what a huge fan I am of Immanuel Quickley, and we better sign him and hold on to him unless we trade him for a top 10 player in this league. Because my suspicion of what Immanuel Quickley is going to do this season is he is going to level up. He's going to become that lethal sniper from long distance that we desperately need to fold that into his already very highly developed game. His ability to drive into the paint, his floater game, his passing game, his playmaking game, his defensive ability, his ability to sometimes guard 3 different players in a possession on his own, on one side of the court. Sometimes he runs over to the other side. He actually is one of the most fun guards to watch defensively in this game. But he needs that consistency from long range. He gets that going, and this guy is he could pop. He has maybe the highest ceiling of all of the 4 young players of the Knicks. So, but I just think the odds are it's going to roll that way. One's going to pop, 2 are going to improve upon the previous season, and one of them might plateau. Now, we might get really lucky, and all 4 of them improve, and maybe 2 of them pop. You never know. So, fingers crossed on that. I'm excited about this beginning. Can't put too much weight into the actual result, but I'm just excited the season's here. The preseason's here. I've been waiting for it a long time. I'm sure you guys have as well. And we're going to have an awesome time here in the Knicks-Verse because this team is going to go far this season. That's all I'm saying at the moment. It's going to go far. It's going to surprise people. Or actually, it may not surprise people. I think people are expecting it. And actually, I'm going to go out on a limb right now and say this. I think the reason the Bucks and the Celtics did what they did is because they kind of knew. They looked at these Knicks and they're like, you know what? These guys are going to be better next season. And they're holding it together. They improved. They added a perfect piece for them, DiVincenzo. They're going to be better. They're going to be tough to beat. So they had to get better. And in Miami, in my opinion, they regressed some. You know, they lost Vincent, Strus. But of course, they got Jaime Jaquez Jr., who's one of my favorite college players for the past 3 years. Fantastic guy. He's perfect for them. So jealous that they got him. But it's going to be interesting. The Miami Heat may not be, they may be similar to what they did last season, and then who knows? In the playoffs, they could go on a run. You never know, especially when you have a team with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. That could happen. But them not getting Dame was great news for the Knicks because Celtics were already, a top-tier team. Miami, I still think they just kind of went on a really great run last season. They caught some lucky breaks. And they played fabulously, so I'm not take anything away from that. But sometimes teams get on a roll and they benefit from it. Doesn't always happen like that every season. So the Knicks are right there. Very excited. Can't wait. Try to do a recap for all the post game, for all the preseason games, and then I will drop my prediction video, my preview prediction video for the entire season, the actual season itself, and that should be a lot of fun. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching this. Again, my name is George. I didn't even say subscribe or anything, but please subscribe if you haven't yet. Turn on the notification bell so you know when I drop a video, and let's hope for the best. All right, Knicks Nation. Thank you so much for joining me here. I will see you around the Knicks-Verse.